Hello everyone. We're at the beautiful Boy Scout Camp Mvskoke here in Paisley, Florida, who have graciously allowed us to do the filming today for our East Meets West and our cultural dance program. We're very proud of everything that has been done to help us to move into the virtual world and give us a wonderful example of life in Florida. And now we're going to meet Mr. Jim Sawgrass. They've been cooking all day long. Martin, who represents
Let's do that every time.
and Jim, who represents the East, have been cooking. So we're going to find out which chicken is better.
Uh-oh.
Bring them all up. And we may need Tom for a taste test here. Come on in, Tom. Tom's about wore out. I think heat index today ranged around 1.
Pretty hot. Pretty
Oh.
hot.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna grab
Yummy.
that one.
Yeah.
This looks delicious.
They're falling off the bone.
And these were freshly caught today.
This is an angry bird, by the way.
Angry bird. All right, ready? You want to taste?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, you gotta taste this first.
Here.
Mmm.
I'm giving you a leg too.
Oh my goodness.
It's tender. It's crunchy. It's wonderful.
It's delicious.
Pretty good.
Try this.
No, this
Wait, you just try this one.
is. We haven't tried mine yet. Mm.
And we have to decide which one's better? Or do we just have to say,
Or just eat it.
yum? All right, I'm ripping the wing off. Tommy loves weenies.
Yeah, juicy it is.
Here,
Mm.
here, finish that.
Mm-hmm.
Delightful.
Leg?
Hey, Jim. He's
Where is she?
he's the one that set all this up for us, by the way.
But I think he's a vegetarian.
No, he is.
Oh.
We can
You know what
ask
that means? He's a bad hunter.
We're telling stories. Come in.
We were gonna offer you some, Angry Bird.
But it's already gone, huh?
No.
No,
Oh.
Are you?
but you're vegetarian.
Yeah, but I eat wild meat.
All right, this is very wild. Go ahead.
Well, there's two different ones. So, all right, try that
Here,
one.
Jim, you didn't get a wing yet.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Delightful. The cooking is excellent, and I recommend it 5 stars. Thank you all very, very much. Now we're going to hear more from our wonderful educators in our Backstage Pass. Stay safe, and we'll see you all soon.
See you backstage.
Oh,
Well, here we are, finished shooting, ready to pack it all up. Everything you saw today on these tables goes in boxes and travels. Basically, we have a traveling museum, and we've carried it and performed in quite a few places. We're very honored to be a part of this festival this year. This was to be our premiere, and so we hope you enjoyed our presentation of East Meets the West, and hope it enlightened and answered lots of questions. I'm sure maybe it even brought out a few questions from them. So ask us.
No. Well, how did you get involved in doing this kind of?
Well, I'll start. You know, growing up dancing, you know, well, when you start dancing, you dance at powwows and stuff. But when you're with a family that starts dancing for doing performances, you know, and you grow up into that family, I mean, as a child, you're just dancing, having fun, you know, but in front of an audience, you know, like a powwow, you have spectators too. But when you get older, you're understanding that, you know, you're actually educating the people out there of, you know, let's say the dancing part of the styles of dancing, the style, you know, what the explanation of the dancing, and you know, and what they mean. You know, that's how I started. I grew up, you know, knowing Jim, It's funny that we're here at Camp Minochi. We both grew up here as youth scouts, and have fond memories here too. But getting older, Jim, I started working with Jim, doing shows with him, and started learning, about his traveling museum, and now, we do the East Meets West, and it's a fun time. I'm glad I'm able to do it.
We probably get the opportunity to do East Meets the West maybe 5 or 6 times a year, and that number's growing. Some of the festivals we've been involved with are cowboy Western festivals up in Atlanta, the Booth Western Art Museum, and quite a few different powwows. Our powwow up in Flagler that we put on there. That's in February if anybody wants to go to that one. But we're willing to bring it around. It's mobile, and it's a pretty neat opportunity to see differences. You don't see this in many places. I got into all this as a kid as well. I was always out in the woods building forts and just learning how people survived, and just all my life I've always asked questions about survival and edible plants, different people I've grown up around. I got to give lots of credit to many of the elder people that some of them passed on and gone, but some of them are still around. Just people I've learned from, and when they would talk, I would listen and hear the stories and remember them. And you don't know how many hours a day or a week I'll spend reading and researching and making sure what I'm saying is right and correct. And so there's a lot of research that goes into this program as well. It takes a lot of setting up. This what you saw today, the exhibit. It took us 2 days, 3 people working all day long, and I guarantee it was at least 100 degrees every day, every hour, and the humidity of Florida in September, August. So, here we are. A lot of work, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I want to thank you, Jim, for because when I grew up in school, I wasn't a history person. I love math, science, electronics, tinkering, in electronics, and but working with you here, learn a lot. I'm still learning a lot from you.
I learn from people too. You're not the only one.
Right, and
I learn from you as well. We all learn from each other. That's the cool thing about all this is everybody learns from each other. We all have something we can offer. Whether your thing is dancing, like we saw some awesome dancing tonight, huh? Or maybe your thing is telling a story or teaching a skill. We have everybody's got their thing they bring. I think those birds are getting angry. We haven't eaten them all.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
tell
it's
you this. Not only is it a traveling museum, they are fantastic cooks, and I'm gonna spice up
You
another
should have
piece.
seen us in Bizarre Foods.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool episode. I caught a glimpse of that episode. What's his name?
Andrew Zimmern.
Andrew
Bizarre Foods.
Zimmerman.
No.
Zimmerman?
Nope, it's Zimmern.
Zimmern?
You might want to edit that.
Yes.
Now this traveling museum, and believe me, it is unbelievably extensive. Let me ask you, when did you first start collecting? Do you remember what your first piece might have been?
That takes some thinking there. No, I don't really. Let me think. Most of that stuff's long gone, been replaced with other things. I look at old pictures when I first got started out. I've done a lot of living history, reenacting, as well as museum sites, programs at forts, portraying characters out of time for films, as well as festivals. For festivals about a certain time of history, and there's a certain native, and I'll research the person, make sure my outfit's correct, and learn his story. For example, the Long Warrior, who was a Seminole leader back in the 18th century, late 18th century, who knew William Bartram. He was the only natives that William Bartram actually painted. The only person actually he painted was the Long Warrior. And once a year I get to portray him, and it's kind of neat going back in time and acting as a person from then. I don't always do a first person thing. Sometimes it's just an educational program. Countless school programs we go to and perform at. What was the question? I forgot it.
Well, I could believe that.
Oh, it was what was your first,
first one.
artifact or something?
Oh,
that you
my
picked?
first artifact.
Well, then let me change the question.
All right. You know, I don't know. Some of that stuff is long gone. I mean, I've been collecting since I was probably 12 or 13. I used to come out here to this camp and set up teepee lodges and sleep in it while other kids were sleeping in their tents. I did that for lots of events out here at this camp. And then, of course, getting invited to different places, going to powwows, and you know the things you have with grows and time. There's a lot of stuff I have we didn't even bring out here just because there's no space for it and just wasn't necessary.
You know, and doing this, you know, we have you know, opportunity, and we did, you know, we travel around the world, you know, doing stuff like this, and it's, you know, to show the world that, you know, there, you know, because you see us, you know, in the past, but with the dancing program as well, we show the world that we're still here in the present, and we're still going to be there in the future, you know, because a lot of times they just see, you know, old movies or whatnot, and they just think, you know, they still think that, you know, oh, you still live in a, you know, a teepee lodge, or do you still? And I was like, no, I got a house. I got a house.
Yeah, I was in Italy last summer, as a matter of fact, performing, and the people in Italy and Europe know a lot more about Native Americans than a lot of people here in America do. That's really interesting. They have an interest in our history here. But it's funny, the image people has of Native people is usually that Plains
Right.
lodge, the teepee lodge. But that was kind of the purpose of creating this whole program, East Meets the West, was it was a way to teach there is differences in Native people. You heard earlier, or maybe you haven't, but there's over 500 nations in North America, and they all were different. Language, to food, to craft, to ways of hunting. So
Yeah.
that's one of the main purposes of our presentation is to get rid of some of the myths and have fun, but yet learn that there's lots of differences in different tribes. Who else has a question? Martin, what do you do on the sideline?
The sideline. Well, ladies, I'm married. Sorry. No, I do. You know, you know, I'm in the entertainment business on not just, you know, doing Native shows and all, but also, you know, I've also acted too, but also do the other side, you know, stagehand work, video production, Broadway shows. You know, I do wardrobe here locally in Orlando. I mean, not right now, but you know, that's what I do. And luckily, I've also freelanced with companies out of state, and we also travel, you know, the world doing corporate shows. And it's a very I enjoy it. You know, it's not. I mean, it can be hard work. You know, you could work really hard, long hours. You know, but like I said, I love it. So it's not work to me. It's not work. And so I stay in the business. You know, either the performer side or the technical side. And so it keeps me in the loop of things that are happening. You know, this is your full-time gig, right?
Yeah, I do this pretty much a lot with my programs in schools and the weekend events, East Meets the West. I also do my own program on its own as well, which is a Florida history program. I stay real busy. I sometimes, in the busy season, which is around Thanksgiving, right now, we'll sometimes do 2 schools a day or maybe 3 even, if there's a night program involved. So, a lot of work, but
Where are you originally from?
I am born and raised right here in Florida, Central Florida. New Smyrna, St. Augustine, Port Orange, East Coast. Florida.
Nice.
And when I go up north, I'm way out of place. But here in the swamps, I can tell you the plants, just from learning them as a kid, what foods are out there in the wilderness that you can eat, native plants that they grew. I've studied a lot of that. That was kind of a big interest of mine since I was a kid, was edible plants and useful plants. And yeah, making the fire today, rubbing sticks together, when I first started doing that, it took me a long, long time before I actually got my first fire. I mean, that wasn't something that you could just pick up and do in a day. It takes practice and practice and practice, and then make mistakes, and then learn from your mistakes, and you keep on, and finally you get a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that happens. How anything happens, really.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. I did it one time at home trying to show the kids. I mean, I didn't use I just used some wood, but it took me all day long. And finally I got something small, but it was painful.
Tell you a funny story about making fire. One time, right here at this camp, I just got done doing a big rubbing sticks together, telling the whole thing, and I when I finished, I'd roll it in my hand and put it out, and I would tuck it away, and that would be it. It would go out, it would smolder out. This thing was burning, had a good coal in there, and it kept burning. I stuck it back in my little pack, in my little box that I kept all my little fire goodies in, and kind of took everybody outside. We went on our nature walk to identify plants. Next thing you know, I hear everybody yelling, screaming, "Oh man, you just about burnt the whole building down. Your fire nest, it just erupted and it was burned up. There was nothing left of it." I had to make the whole kit over again. My bone was burnt in half, the rib bone for making the bow.
Uh-huh.
What else you want there? Is that what you're kind of wanting?
It is exactly.
All right.
Well, I'm from Texas originally, if anybody was wondering.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering myself.
Yeah, I'm
I
from
thought you were from Miami.
Miami.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, we moved out here to Kissimmee back in I think it was 1980 or 1981. Like I said, I'm from a small town called O'Donnell. The claim to fame for that town, which is south of Lubbock, West Texas, Lower Panhandle. Dan Block, for the people who know old westerns and stuff. Dan Blocker, who played Haas, Bonanza, was from that area, and his dad owned the general store in O'Donnell. And my dad's told stories of Dan Blocker bringing other cast members for the Christmas parade, and passing out headshots signed and everything. But so that's that claim to fame. But yeah, we moved to Kissimmee, stayed in Kissimmee, ever since, and never moved out.